Good morning, everyone. As you all know that we are discussing the leadership theories, and so far we have discussed about the trait theory of leadership. We have discussed the transactional and as well as the transformational theory of leadership. And before discussing today's topic, the value-based leadership, I'll first, give you a quick recap of what we discussed in the earlier lectures, and so that you can easily identify the difference between the transactional and the transformational theory of leadership. The difference lies in the reactive and proactive, as I have written here. You can easily identify that the transactional leaders, transactional leadership actually is reactive in nature, and whereas the transformational leaders, they are proactive in nature. Second difference lies in the organizational culture, and here the transactional leaders, they work within the organizational culture, whereas the transformational leaders, they work to change the organizational culture by introducing the new ideas. Third difference lies in the objectives, and under the transactional leadership, employees, they achieve the objectives with an aim to get the reward and to avoid the punishments. But under the transformational leadership, here the employees, they achieve the objectives with a sense of commitment and dedication. Next is in the motivation of followers, and here in case of the transactional leaders, they motivate the followers by appealing, primarily to their own self-interest rather than the interest of the group. As in case of the transformational leadership, they motivate the followers by encouraging them to put in their best efforts, primarily in the interest of the group, or you can say in the interest of the team. Next difference lies in innovative ideas, and in case of the transactional leaders, they encourage the followers to maintain the status quo. But however, the transformational leaders, they encourage innovation and creativity on part of the subordinates. Next is the individual consideration, and in case of the transactional leaders, they may not give importance to the individual consideration, but however, in the transformational leaders, they give personal attention, they treat each employee individually, they coach and advise them as well. Next lies in the management by exception, and here in case of the transactional leaders, they generally adopt passive management or time by exception, whereas in case of the transformational leaders, they may generally adopt the active management exception. Next is in the style of leaders, and the transactional leaders, they adopt the laissez-faire style, wherein the leaders avoid the decision making and responsibility. But in case of the transformational leaders, they adopt the participative leadership style, and they inspire subordinates to actively take part in decision making. Next is the time horizon. The transactional leaders, they consider the short-term time horizon, and they are more content with the achievement of short-term goals. And in case of the transformational leaders, they consider the long-term time horizons, and they motivate the subordinates to make efforts to achieve the long-term goals. So this was just a brief, the difference between the transactional and the transformational leadership. Now let's discuss our today's topic, that is the value-based leadership. Basically value-based leadership, it is an idea that leaders should draw on their own and the followers, values for direction and motivation. And, value-based leadership's philosophy, it asserts that people are mostly motivated by values and they live accordingly, according to their beliefs. So in other words, we can say that, values are, as we say, are the most natural motivators, and it is, natural for leaders to refer to their own values in creating a vision or making the decisions. And we can say, and equally, it makes sense for leaders to connect with their followers' values, which makes them more likely to act. So it was Richard Barrett, who was an author of the Building a Values-Driven Organization, and he defined the value-based leadership as a way of making authentic decisions that build the trust and commitment of employees and customers. As a philosophy, value-based leadership assumes that an organization based around shared values is likely to be more flexible and productive. So leaders who can apply this philosophy, they are likely to experience certain inner benefits, and like we can say, they are like self-reflection, balance, true self-confidence, and genuine humility. As far as self-reflection is concerned, we can say that it is an ability to reflect and identify what you stand for, what your values are, or we can say what matters the most. And balance, is an ability to see the situations from multiple perspectives, including differing viewpoints to gain the holistic understanding. Now, as far as the true self-confidence is concerned, we can say, more than mastery of certain skills, true self-confidence, it enables you to accept yourself as you are, or we can say recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses and focusing on the continuous improvement. And the genuine humility, this is an ability to never forget who you are, to appreciate the value of every person, and to treat everyone respectively. Now, there are some characteristics of the value-based leaders, and first is the uh, interpersonal behaviors. And here, it means treating the people with care, to be very helpful and kind, to support others, and to maintain positive relationships. Next is the personal actions and expectations, and it is like holding self to high ethical standards, strive for honesty, we can say not only for honesty but also for humility, integrity, and it is to accept the responsibility for the ethical fallings. Next is fairness with others, and here it means to treat everyone with treat everyone equally and never to be condescending, accept others' mistakes as well. That is what the being fair means with others. Next is an organizational leadership, and it means articulate and communicate ethical vision. Holding people, we can say, accountable, or we can say put ethics above short-term interests. Or you can end upon these the leaders who follow the value-based leadership. They will make the better choices, feeling more comfortable to act upon them, and we can say that they are likely to build better, more trusting and less stressful relationships with others, or we can say with followers. And they are more likely to feel aligned with their authentic self. So, as a person's values are at the core of their sense of identity. So, by definition, we can say the authentic leaders, they will always act from their highest values. So, this is all about the value-based leadership. I'll see you tomorrow again. Till then, take care and stay safe.